back to episode 2 of the Caden Eric Show. I'd like to go on today with the fact that as adults we might always agree on policies and procedures, but universally I think we all kind of came together to protect children. We would protect them from the evils and predators of this world. I mean, there's the jokes about don't go to the ice cream man because who knows, don't take candy from strangers. But today's world that no longer applies. It seems like children are under attack from the extremists on the left, particularly those that are of the confused trans community. They are obsessed with the sexualization of our children. It's just so bizarre. And our youth. Trying to confuse them, trying to make them think they're something they're not. So a little background on me first. I'm currently working in the medical field and have been doing so for about a decade. I've been an EMT, paramedic, firefighting, plus college nursing classes, and every single freaking medical class that I've ever taken has all said the same thing. A man is a man and a woman is a woman, period, end of story. But you can't tell that to this guy here. Well, let me pull this up.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
Yeah, he's lovely, right?
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
I mean, there's zero switching. We're not Transformers. You know, man can't become a woman. That's just not how basic human biology works. You know, no matter what cosmetic procedures you're done on the outside, the inside stay the same. For example, a man's pelvic bones aren't created for birth of a baby, whereas a woman's pelvic bone are created so that a baby may pass between them. No doctor can change that. If you died in 100 years, somebody dug up your bones, that's what they would assign your gender as, a male or a female based on your bone structure. Men are bigger and stronger than women. Genetically, we're different. Men have X and Y chromosomes. Women have 2 X chromosomes. But none of these facts mean that one sex is better than the other. We're just different. This is how it is. Men are better at some things, vice versa. That's just how it goes. So the fact that you have these extreme leftists coming out for our children with these drag shows, with these TV shows that are geared towards children, trying to confuse them into thinking they're something they're not. I mean, especially now we have teachers in our schools whose sole purpose, they feel, is to teach our children about sexual preferences, make sure they have their pronouns, all while keeping them, what they're teaching, a secret from their parents. In fact, there's a news article here from the New York Post this year in January. It says a California high school teacher has boldly confessed that she helps students change their identity without their parents' knowledge.
My job, Precious, which is a public service, is to protect kids,
Olivia Garrison told the New York Times about helping students socially transition at school.
Sometimes they need protection from their parents. Yes, Precious, they do.
Social transition describes the process in which a person adopts the name and pronouns that align with their gender identity rather than the gender that they were at birth. Garrison, who is a non-binary, teaches history. That's just great. At Del Oro High School in Bakersfield. I'm not going to use they with this lady here. Have previously posted on TikTok about decorations in their
queer safe space classroom,
including a bright Love Wins flag. One of Garrison's former students, Clementine Morales, told the Times about coming out as non-binary at school while it felt uncomfortable to do so at home. I had to look for parental figures in other people who were not my parents, Morales, now 19, said of the process. But the issue has become a hot button issue for parents under President Biden's They're lovely about all this. And his administration proposed Title IX reforms, which would expand regulations combating sex-based discrimination in schools, including sexual orientation and gender identity. Let's see, it goes on here. Talks about a mother here. The mother told the Times that she learned of her 15-year-old's social transition after reading their preferred name on a worksheet. This is in California, Southern California. There was never any word from anyone to let us know that on paper and in the classroom, our daughter was now our son, she said. It felt like a parenting stab in the back from the school system. It should have been discussed. It should have been a discussion, we made as a family. Caron High School District, where Garrison teaches, even boasted a flyer on its website that allows students to change their preferred name and gender marker without a parent's signature. These freaking people think that our kids are their kids and they can do whatever they want with them. According to the University of California's San Francisco Transgender Roadmap, social transitioning is a key step for gender non-conforming people. In addition to name changes and new pronouns, the process can include physical alterations like wardrobes and hairstyle. Neither Garrison nor Dale High School replied to the post request for comments. Of course they didn't, because they know they're in trouble. Let's see, there's this Dr. Erica Anderson, a psychologist who has helped hundreds of young people transition, is among those fighting the movement. Anderson, who is transgender, filed an ambiguous brief in support of parents in a Maryland lawsuit claiming district's policy violates their rights, the Times reported. Good, so at least somebody's sticking up for parents. Maryland, unlike California and New Jersey, officially advises parents and administrators not to disclose their students' social transition to their parents or guardian without permission from the students themselves, according to the publication. This isn't great. There's these teachers and school advisors or administrators think that they can do whatever they want, and us as parents can't say anything about it. There's a lovely picture here of her with some bright pink hair, and it's just, it's just ridiculous. She's got a nice BLM shirt too on one of these other pictures. So that's just one article. Another article here. Non-binary teacher has good laughs about hiding kids' gender changes from parents, claiming support from admin. Another teacher in Maryland here said intentionally concealing students' gender changes, especially from parents, was part of explicit district policy and provided good laughs. That's great. Lane Codgdill works at Silver Spring International Middle School in the Montgomery Public School Districts, according to their website. The teacher uses zer, whatever the crap that's supposed to mean, they, them, and he, him pronouns. So this teacher's a woman, is what I'm guessing, if they're using he, him as a pronoun. The teacher said that all their statements concerning a Fox News digital article in which Codgdill discussed sharing multiple non-binary identities with students during their first encounters, as well as concealing gender changes, were part of district policy. Oh, it's so important we know what the heck is going on in our school systems. These people are just sick. And Fox News Digital reached out to the district inquiring whether the statements about the teacher disclosing gender identity in their first encounters with the kids, as well as hiding students' transition, were part of policy, but did not receive an immediate response. Of course not. Codgel said that when students question their gender, the teacher will ask them for their name and pronouns and would help hide it from school administrators and parents upon request.
I always ask a trans or questioning student as soon as I find out what is the name you prefer, what pronouns do you prefer, who else knows, and how would you like me to refer you when I speak to your family, to the administrators, yes, precious, to other teachers, in front of other students. Some students ask me not to disclose their identity. Yes, precious, we must keep it a secret. And that's a promise I always honor,
Codgel said. Isn't that great? And then the teacher added,
I can't imagine breaking a single trans or non-binary student's trust by sharing details about their gender identity with anyone, precious, yes, especially their parents, their counselors, and their administrators.
Isn't that just fantastic? These freaking teachers think that because they're in some kind of position of power that they can just do whatever they want with our children. Doesn't matter. And I mean, this is just one teacher. They're all over the country, all over all over everywhere. There's another teacher right up here in Canada that I'll have you listen to here just a second. So it's a little bit from here, Tucker Carlson talking about it. And then not only does he talk about this sick, perverted guy up in Canada, but there's a whole bunch of other clips too, so listen to this.
Where American fads go to die. And of course you're used to thinking all of that about Canada because it's long been true. It's time to think again. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Canada, of all places, is a leading indicator. As the woke revolution spreads across the West, Canada is at the vanguard of it. Under Justin Trudeau, Canada has done everything to the maximum possible extent. It has criminalized political speech, it has banned self-defense, it's used the power of the state to squelch Christianity, all of it. So if you want to know what's going to happen next in the United States, it's time to look north. Canada is the ghost of our Christmas future.
Wake up, America.
So with that in mind, as we're taking a look at what is happening right now in Canada's schools, because you are certain to see all of it in your children's schools very soon. So this week, videos surfaced on the internet from a place called Trafalgar High School in Oakville, Ontario. That's right across the lake from Niagara Falls. These videos show a teacher called Stephen Hanna, who apparently has been employed at Trafalgar High for several years. Recently, Hanna decided to dress like a woman, or more precisely, as a grotesque caricature of a woman, not a real woman, but a kind of pneumatically inflated Marilyn Monroe look-alike. As part of his costume, Hanna strapped on a pair of gigantic prosthetic breasts, each the size of a 10-pound watermelon. We're not exaggerating here. They're visible from at least 100 yards away, if not from space. We'll show you the picture we are right now on the screen. But here's the thing. Hanna isn't doing this in private, in his home, in restaurants and clubs. If he were, we would not be mentioned on the show because it would not be our business. Have fun, Stephen Hanna. No. Stephen Hanna is doing it in class, in front of children. As the Canadian journalist Jonathan Kay put it, Hanna has been dressing like this for a while, but only recently have students within the school gone public with this fact. So they've been enduring this for a while. Kay also notes that Hanna's costume is based on the style of Japanese internet pornography, which translates roughly into English as exploding milk porn. So what's going on here? Well, you know exactly what's going on here. Let's stop pretending. Women may not see it right away because generally their lives are not defined by their sex drives. But if you're a man, you get it instantly. What is this about? It's about sex. Stephen Hanna is enlisting other people's children in his sexual fantasies.
Yes,
That's why he's doing this in class. Having an audience of children gives Stephen Hanna a sexual charge. He's getting off on this. There's no question about it. This is the guy in the van trying to give your sixth grader candy. This is the flasher in the park. This guy is a pervert. He should not be within 500 yards of children, period. He's a threat to children.
Or 500 miles.
Now, there have always been threats to children. In every society, there are people like this. And every society deals with them swiftly and very harshly.
Except for us,
but no
for some
longer in
reason.
the West. Now, people like this are not punished. They are
Nope.
celebrated and then protected.
Yep.
Trafalgar High School, which is public, it's funded by Canadian taxpayers,
Hold on.
is
I mean, just look at what happened here in Tennessee. You know, some trans woman or trans man, whatever the crap, she's a woman, went and shot up a Christian school. But who's everybody concerned about? The trans community. Even though it was an obvious hate crime. All right, he goes on further to say,
they are celebrated and then protected. Trafalgar High School, which is public, it's funded by Canadian taxpayers, is vigorously defending his behavior and threatening anyone who notices. So is the Halton District School Board, which oversees the school. They just sent us the statement, and we're quoting. The school board recognizes the rights of the parents, staff, students, guardians, community members to equitable treatment without discrimination based upon gender identity and gender expression. Gender identity and gender expression are protected grounds under the Ontario Human Rights Code. Oh, the Human Rights Code. Really? We're the rights of the kids.
yeah,
There are
exactly.
none. In other words, if you complain, if you're a parent who complains about Stephen Hanna enlisting your children in his sexual fantasies, you are the criminal. You are breaking Canadian law. For the most part, the Canadian media, the most supine media that speaks English,
But they're not
are
grooming their
siding with
kids.
Stephen Hanna, the sicko. Other than the noble exceptions of Jonathan Kay, who we just quoted, and a small feminist blog called Redux, nobody is covering what Stephen Hanna is doing to kids sexually. The rest are effectively defending it. The Toronto Sun, for example, went with this headline. School board prepares for backlash over trans high school teacher. Oh, backlash. Trans high school teacher. He's protected. No, he's a freaking weirdo wagging fake breasts in the face of your children because it titillates him.
Yep.
And if you complain about that, you're the problem. So the problem is parents, not the pervert in the classroom. It's hard to believe this is happening, but we're sad to tell you it's not just happening in Canada. You see versions of it everywhere, including in this country. And to be clear, what this is, children being used as props in the sexual fantasies of adults. Children being
Rumor.
used as props in the sexual fantasies of adults. Are you okay with that? Is
Called
any normal
rumors.
person okay with that? It's completely wrong. It's utterly outside the bounds of what's acceptable. It's
Wake
not
up.
a close call. And yet suddenly teachers, licensed teachers, are bragging about it on social media.
I have had multiple students come out to me, not just with their sexuality, but also with their gender identity. It's one of the reasons I think it's so important to be out and loud and proud.
I teach my elementary school students about gender identity. Some
Elementary.
people are girls, some are boys, some are both, some are neither.
I might tell this kid, we do have a flag in the class that you can pledge your allegiance to. And he looks around and goes,
Guess what flag it is?
oh, that one?
Yep. Not American flag.
So again, if you were walking through the park with your kids and a stranger came up and started talking to them, say to your 5th grader, your 5-year-old, or even your 14-year-old, about sex, what would you do? Well, you would call the police, of course. That's not allowed. It's a crime because they're children.
Except in
But
classrooms.
teachers are allowed to do it and then to brag about it. And it's not stopping with classroom instruction. All
Certainly
over the
not.
country, adults are forcing children to attend drag shows. Watch.
So there's some guy up there with some kind of weird face mask. Unicorn outfit. Some fat man in a unicorn outfit. Oh, and then he's in a little skirt and gyrating his junk all over. Oh, kids are giving him money. Isn't that nice? Going up and picking up the money that's thrown at this guy. Dancing on the stage. Little children around. Some kind of provocative dress. He bends down and he takes the money from a child. That's great. Oh, and he's taking out something from underneath his dress.
So just to be clear, as if it's not clear, and somehow we're in such a haze that it isn't clear to a lot of people, these are sexual fantasies playing out in public. And on one hand, we've also agreed that's fine, go do your thing. But you are not allowed to bring children into your sexual fantasies because that's a species of child molestation. You can be fully clothed when it happens. It doesn't make it any less abusive or any less immoral. They're children. Keep children away from your sex life, comma, sicko.
Exactly. But that's not in the world we live in today, where these types of disgusting, evil groomers are sitting there. And then what is the deal with the parents? Why? I mean, here, I live in Dallas, Texas, and up in Roanoke, they did one of these stupid drag queen things. You know, and you've got the Antifa guys with their ARs standing outside guarding them. I love it how, you know, when it's something like this, they stand out there with their big, scary ARs. But that's okay. But the rest of us can't, you know, have an AR to defend ourselves. So as parents, we need to wake up. Look into your child's schools. Make sure none of this is happening. We can no longer sit idly by and think all is well. Oh, it's okay. They don't learn anything. You know, it's just this other kids we have to worry about at our kids' schools. Nope, it's not just the other kids. It's the parents and the teachers, the administrators, all of them. Because not all is well. Those groomers and pedophiles are hurting our kids. To those who might not have children yet, join us. And we can fight to save the rising generation, because it'll be so much worse if we don't get this under control and get them out. So what do? As parents, we go into our kids' classrooms, meet their teachers, know what these innocent children, I mean, elementary school children, why the crap are you teaching an elementary school child about sex in the first place? Let them be kids, for crying out loud. It just makes me so messy. That's why we have to talk about other things besides politics and these types of things. We'll talk about baseball and whatever else, just to kind of calm ourselves down a little bit, because it's so infuriating. You know, demand that these teachers be removed. No, I mean, teachers isn't even the right word for this. They're groomers. They're just pedophile groomers. Pull your kids from these indoctrination classes. Put them in other schools. You know, get on the school board yourselves. Make the changes that way. Because I think that's obviously where another problem is too. Change the groomer policies. Or, you know, another option, homeschool your children. Then you know 100% of what your children are being taught. You know, it's hard to do it. I did it for a little while. I grew up, you know, I was homeschooled for a while, and it was great. I didn't have to deal with a whole bunch of crap that is involved. But, you know, when I was going to school, there wasn't any of this nonsense. What you worried about was the pervert in the park, or, you know, in their car. Hey, come get this candy here, kid. You know, now we have to worry about the parent, you know, the teachers as well. You know, gone are the days of just voting in elections, sleeping for a couple years, not paying attention. It's time to wake up. Our children's souls are at stake. You know, along with them, our grandchildren, you know, just our great-grandchildren. We have to protect the rising generation. That's our job as parents, is to protect our kids. It's time to wake up. These innocent children have been entrusted to us by God, and we're going to have to give an account with what we did with them. If we're taking them to drag shows, and we're going to have there's going to be a day of accountability. These precious souls are His, and He has entrusted them with us, and it is our job as parents to defend them, not only physically, but spiritually. We have to get these kids protected. Now, of course, I'm not talking about any violent activities. That's not what the right does. That's not what we do. That's just the left tactic. You know, obviously, look at what's happened here with Tennessee. You know, 6 innocent people were killed by some trans whack job. You know, a list of ways we can defend them. Now we have to go. And there's other non-violent ways, like Dr. Martin Luther King said, that, you know, violence doesn't do anything. There's no, you know, paraphrasing, of course, but it's time to rise up, united as parents and the good people of the world, to protect the innocent. You know, if you want to, as adults, if you want to go and do this, whatever, drag show, who cares? Go do it at your house, go place, club, whatever. The problem is when you involve children, that's where the problem comes in. It's our job, it's our commission, it's our right as their parents to protect them. So, in the immortal worlds of Larry the Cable Guy,
Get her done.
always, you can reach me at the Cade and Eric Show at gmail.com. Thank you and have a wonderful day.